Ladies and ghouls, welcome to another action-packed episode of The Vlogging Dead. If you have not watched the episode and you do not want any spoilers, then you should probably not watch this right now. So let's get through the intro and talk about what happened and talk about what might happen or what you think happened that actually didn't happen. I have on my first note, Daryl got bored. It seems like the theme of tonight's episode was don't do what Rick says, and if you don't do what Rick says, then bad things happen to you. We also lost a lot of Alexandrites tonight, which we didn't really care about, but you have to remember this is the whole community, and this is the whole reason why everybody's fighting so hard and working so hard for this community of all these people. However, tonight, it was basically kind of split. We see a huge difference between, you know, Rick and his gang, people have been out in this apocalyptic world, and the people that have not. And ideals kind of clash, but also they kind of mend a little bit too. Now, I know that Michonne was talking a lot to, I believe his name was David. He's the one that ended up dying anyway up against the gate. Like, oh, he's the one that wrote the note basically saying, if I don't make it back, then I love you. And he ended up dying anyway, even though Michonne had wrote, I'm getting ahead of my notes, but even though that she had wrote on his arm when they were trying to be quiet for the zombies that, you know, you'll get back, we'll bring you back, and that ended up not happening, and she was trying to smudge it out on herself, but anyway, she tries to dig into his story a little bit. I took that as kind of like she's trying to get some kind of a little bit of backstory from him, because she knows, or she knew, that he may not make it. So let's put a little bit of humanity and find out who this person really is. So it wasn't just Daryl tonight that went against Rick's orders. It was also Michonne and Glenn. And of course we know what we think happened already. But bad things happened to everybody. Rick told Michonne and Glenn specifically that if anybody gets in your way, or anything gets in your way, kill it. If somebody's, you know, slowing you down, leave them, because you guys need to get back at camp. And I think the major reason that Rick did that is because he knew that both Michonne and Glenn were a, you know, great force of this whole community. They've been out in this world. They know what to do. And then everybody else doesn't. So you, just for the same instance that if you're on an airplane and that mask comes down and you've got a child, you put the mask on yourself before you handle the child, because if you're not safe, then you're not going to be able to take care of somebody else. So I really think that's where Rick was going with that. I just put a note down here that Sturgis left them behind in more ways than one. And he was the one that just kind of like took off from the group, and then they find him being eaten by zombies in the middle of the street, and it's like, yeah, man, he just left. And it's like, yeah, well, he's dead now, so he left you again. We also see the Alexandrites not so positive in this episode. It's like, oh, poor me, woe is me, if it's going to happen, we're all going to die anyway, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, could you be any more taxing on this group? And Michonne was kind of a cheerleader for him a little bit. Yeah, that's all I have about that note. Was that a complete thought? I've got another note, too, that the Alexandrites still are calling the zombies or the walkers roamers, which I thought was really interesting, because you would think that, well, two things, now that I think about it. The first thing is maybe they just haven't been convinced or taught, or Rick's group's ways haven't like set in on them, or maybe down deep they're all just kind of fighting Rick's ways, because maybe they don't want to believe that it's that bad out there to where Rick is starting to head towards governor status. Did I say that? And Rick cut himself. Is that a problem? Post it down in the comment. Rick cutting himself, is that a major problem? Because everybody's already got it in them anyway, and they don't become a zombie unless they die. So why is Rick cutting himself and getting walker blood in his cut a bad thing? I just threw the paper on the ground. Dramatic effect. I am failing you guys because there is obvious drama between Michonne and, I should have known his name, and I'm just going to call him Dude for now. He was the one that she was trying to cheerlead, and they had the little conversation in the pet shop. The huge pet shop. Okay, it was a very small pet shop, and they were talking rather loud, so you would think that the others might be able to hear him, but apparently for cinematic effect they weren't able to hear him. But basically, you know, the guy says that he overheard Rick telling Michonne just leave people behind, so you know, Michonne tries to convince him that, you know, they're fighting for everybody. As far as like being locked in the pet shop with all the zombies, and I just saw like Michonne like up against the window or whatever, and you could just see on her face, because Denai is a great actress, you can see on her face it's just like, oh shit, everything's coming true. Two last points. One of them is extremely obvious. The other one was brought up on The Talking Dead, and I wanted to ask your guys' opinion about it. Is Morgan responsible for the wolves attacking Rick? Post it down in the comments below. I'm going to kind of like taint you guys a little bit and say that I think so, because if Morgan had killed them, obviously they wouldn't be there attacking Rick. And Rick is already kind of like, he's tired. He's been running, and now the RV won't start. Now who knows what's going to happen with the walkers. I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's kind of giving up a little bit. Do you think that they would actually kill Rick off? I mean, wow. They'd save money on payroll. And obviously we're going to get to the last one tonight, and I've got a couple screenshots, and I'm able to show those because we're going to comment on them, and that's like the copyright. We as long as we comment on it, it's okay, and that's legal. So I've got a couple of screenshots in succession because everybody's like, oh my god, Glenn's dead. Oh, you didn't know that? I told you guys at the beginning of this that if you didn't want any spoilers, you shouldn't be watching right now. That means you. So Glenn basically gets eaten by a horde of walkers, or at least that's what they want you to believe. Now, there are some facts and evidence showing that that is not the case. For instance, on The Talking Dead, he was not in memoriam tonight. He was not listed as being killed. He was not a guest actor on The Talking Dead tonight. He did not make an appearance. Take a look at these screenshots, okay? So, first we have dude, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna like totally like just give in and blah blah blah, because I'm an Alexandrite. And then Glenn's like, holy crap, he just blew his brains out and it's all over my face. And then it's like, oh no, we're falling. But look, dude is falling on top of him. And then when you see the guts, which these are the guts right here, you see the guts. Guts aren't that high up in your chest. So I think that dude fell on top of him, because you take a look at this last shot. I know it's hard to tell, but you can see a face, and where are the walkers at? They're way far down from that face. So, that tells me that maybe Glenn is not dead, and he's going to use the other body to kind of cover him, or do whatever. I don't know what's going to happen. I sense a distraction for all the zombies that are around him. But we'll see what happens. So, I hope you guys loved this version of The Vlogging Dead. I've tried to make it a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more entertaining, and I'm losing my mind, but that's okay. You have to have it to lose it, so I guess I haven't lost my mind, or I did previous to this broadcast. Anyway, guys, we will say happy haunting. Post everything in the comments below. Make sure to thumbs up, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Oh shit! Oh! No! No!
Vincent M. Ward, a.k.a. Oscar from The Walking Dead. Yo, happy haunting.